Good morning, Snapchat. All right, new day. Got this Tahoe. Got to get it done and going. First thing first, let's go ahead and get this battery disconnected. All right, guys, after you get the battery disconnected and some other things situated and you get your dog to move out the way, even though he's right there, you're going to go ahead and drain all the oil. It's a 15 millimeter bolt. Loosen it all the way. And drain it out. All right, so while we let the oil finish draining out from the bottom, it's time to get started up here on the top. Bro, have you ever had any issues with your AC belt tensioner? Nah, bro, I did the delete. The what? All right, guys, obviously I went through some stuff since the last video, but the intake is off. Obviously, fuel rail, PCV lines, yada, 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 yada. Gonna get all this cleaned up and then get moving on to get off. Well, actually, before the heads come off, you gotta drain that antifreeze. And I still gotta figure out how I'm gonna get that belt off. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take the coil packs off. So there's 5 10 millimeters, but the one in the back is the hardest one to do. So the best, easiest way to get that one is by removing that physical coil pack, and then you'll have enough space and room to get in there and get that last deep 10 millimeter off. All right, well, I'm as far as I can go without having to drain the coolant. Just procrastinated it because having to clean up the coolant after it's onto the floor is the worst part. Then obviously the floor is just hella sticky afterwards, but it's that time, so let's get to it. Bitch. I got the coolant drained, water pump is removed, sitting over there. Just gonna let it trickle a little bit more, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull the head. Alright, just a quick little recap. To remove this head, I gotta take off the cooling crossover tube. Obviously the rock arms gotta come out. I gotta get the exhaust manifold out, spark plugs out, etc, etc. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that now. Alright guys, happy to report that none of the bolts snapped. They all came out. That one that I showed you that was on the right side though, bro, that one was a bitch to break. I was like, fuck man, I knew it. But they all came out. There's one spark plug in the bag that I can just not get out, but I got the boot off, so I'll just pull it out when I pull the head off. Alright guys, it's officially time to pull the valve cover off and get the rocker arms out. Alright, valve cover's off. Let me show you what we got going on here. We got a little DOD failure. No play, no play, no play. Yeesh. No play, no play, no play, no play. Rocker arms and push rods out. Alright, time to break those head bolts and get the head out. Alright, Chop. I'll let you inside if you tell me what a hoe's at. Alright, I got the top 5 bolts out, which would be bolts 11 through 15. The reason I took these ones out first is because when you remove the heads, you got to go in reverse sequence. So instead of going 1 through 15, you go 15 through 1. So I got 15 through 11 out now. Then I'm going to go ahead and do 10 through 1 and get those out. And don't forget, these bolts are torque to yield, so you cannot reuse these bolts. Once you get them out, you're going to throw them away. Some people do break these loose with an impact. I don't do that. I'm going to break them loose by hand. After I break them all loose by hand in sequence, then I'm going to use my walkie rat to just spin them the rest of the way out, pull them out, throw them away, and pull the head out. Alright guys, we got the head off. Here's the lifter trays. You can see that left side one is sunk down. So that means the spring has collapsed and seized up. Or whatever the fuck they call it technically. Guys, had to take a little break to give my son something to eat. He just got home from school. But I'm going to keep on going. I got the new head gasket laying there. I'm going to get this head cleaned up real quick. I took out the fans because I'm going to need the space to get the balancer out. But I'm debating if I want to throw the head back on now, but we'll see. Alright, I got the head cleaned up and set back on there. I don't have all the bolts in. I only have 11 through 15 just to hold it there. I'm not ready to torque it down yet. I still have a few other things I need to do before I move on to that step. Next thing is going to be getting this timing cover off and getting down to the pump. Alright guys, last one. Listen for that click. Oh, we're just going to fucking send it, dog. All right, the valve cover's on. The valve cover gets torqued down to 89 inch-pounds. Unfortunately, my torque wrench doesn't go that low. So, all right, valve cover's tightened down. Let's get the exhaust manifold put back on. New GM gasket. This should be quick, hopefully. All right, the bolts for the exhaust manifold are in, all 6 of them, and they're gonna get torqued down to 18 foot-pounds. All right, last bolt. Listen for that click. Alright guys, spark plugs, coil packs, and all that stuff are put back in. From this moment on, I guess that's it for the top end. So now we gotta drop the oil pan. So to do that, we gotta drop the differential, the cross member, all that little extra bullshit. So I'll be down there shortly. Alright guys, got the car lifted up, or I'm sorry, got the truck lifted up. Long story short, that's the oil pan. But to get to the oil pan, we gotta take the front differential. Once that's out, the oil pan will come out. I take those 2 bolts off right there. Those 2 right there, and that'll drop the cross member. And then after that, we gotta drop the... Alright, I got the bolts for the cross member out. This side you can't see because the light over there, but kinda. Time to drop it. Take your time with it, don't go too fast, just... There you go. Alright guys, since I got the cross member out, I went ahead and used the wire brush attachment on the drill just to kind of clean up the surfaces a little bit to make it easier to reinstall. And also, we have to take off the axles and the U-joint or the drive shaft. But it's very important to mark where they are the light, but this is my clean surface here. So during reinstall, I'm just gonna line all the clean surfaces back up with each other and then tighten it back down. Originally, because like say for the drive shaft example, right, we put it on the other way, it may have some issue with the balancing. So I used the wire brush and the drill just to drill a clean surface on both. So you can see this is my clean surface here. This is my clean surface here. And you can... Alright, the drive shaft is out. I'm gonna have to bungee it up some way somehow because it is gonna end up being in the way. Trying to do this shit with one hand sucks. Alright, the drive shafts are disconnected on both sides. Alright, so these 2 bolts are 21 millimeter, and these 2, that one and that one, are 18. It's holding it. Once I lower it down a little bit, I'll be able to get that out. And I know there's a breather tube somewhere. I just don't remember where, but I'm sure I'll see it once I start lowering it. So we're ready to lower the differential. I just need to get something here to hold it. This wire, the wiring connector is disconnected, but there's like a little plastic clip. All right, guys, I did get the front diff out and down. Now I just need to lower this one, the steering rack, but that's easy. Just 4 bolts. And once you get the 4 bolts out, you can just let it sit there. Then you can have full access to get the entire oil pan off, oil pan gasket, oil pump. Put that shit back in, bolt this back on, put the differential back up, bolts all that shit back in, move on. Alrighty guys, the oil pan is out. There's the pickup tube. That little thing right there, that's the dipstick. So now that this is first order, I'm gonna pull the pump off, and that'll literally be it until tomorrow, I guess, when the oil pump and the oil pan gasket get here, and then back in reverse. Alright guys, the oil pump is out. I guess that's pretty much it till tomorrow. Dearly beloved, we've gathered here today to join these 2 in holy macaroni. Alright guys, we got the new pump in. The pickup tube is installed. Now we're going to torque these 4 bolts down to 18 foot-pounds in a crisscross. cross pattern. Alright guys, we're ready to get the oil pan put back on. I know it doesn't look like it, but yes, the surface is clean. Just one thing to remember before you put the oil pan back on. Nice bead of RTV in there to make it seal, because this gasket is going to seal with the gasket on the oil pan. I don't know if you can see these two lines right here. Hold on. Those two lines, cracks, whatever you want to call them. Just put a nice... Alright guys, the oil pan is back in and all torqued down. Obviously crisscross pattern, 18 foot-pounds. The steering rack is back in as well. Before I put the diff in, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the front timing cover. And after the timing cover's in and torqued down, then I'll come back down and I'll put the diff on. Alright man, just want to give everybody a quick update. Just got home from work. Yesterday my son had the phone, so I didn't record anything, but the differential is back in, the cross member back in. Everything down below is all buttoned up. So now it's time to finish at the top end, and this truck will be done. Should be done in a couple hours. Alright guys, everything is reassembled. I'm going to leave the cover off because I'm going to check for leaks real quick. 6 quarts of oil filters in. I know I'm going to need like... Hell yeah. Oh man, that's yada yada yada. We're gonna find out. Watch this bitch not even start. Oh shit. Alright. 2 more gallons of coolant, but I at least want to start it and see what happens. We're gonna listen to it. So battery's hooked up, yada yada yada. Let the fuel prime because we have the fuel rails disconnected. Pressure's low. The oil pressure though. Sheesh. This bitch is done.